What up? Welcome into Orange and Brown 365, episode number 7, live here on Spreaker on a beautifully and unseasonably warm 50-some degree Valentine's Day here in the city by the shores of Lake Erie, Cleveland, Ohio. I am your host, as always, the self-proclaimed Seatown sports guru, Jeremy Somerville. Welcome in to Orange and Brown 365. Now, what do we got on today's docket? I'm going to talk about a few items I posted up on orangeandbrown365.com. And also, I'm going to touch on what I would do if I was running the Browns this offseason, especially with wide receiver Terrell Pryor. So, let's get started here. Up on orangeandbrown365.com, last night I posted 3 player profiles out of the 10 that I planned on posting for the QB search of 2017. I've now gotten 5 up. We have Jimmy Garoppolo, Tyrod Taylor, A.J. McCarron, Pat Mahomes, and Mitch Trubisky. Posted up on orangeandbrown365.com. You want to check them out, go to the website, check them out, give me feedback at Twitter, at SomervilleCLE. Hit me up at the email, brand new email here, oab365@gmail.com. Now, what did I learn last night when I finished up my reports on Tyrod Taylor, Mitch Trubisky, and Pat Mahomes? 1, if the Bills are stupid enough to cut Tyrod Taylor, they don't deserve to win. Now, yes, they owe him $27.5 million at least over the next 2 years, so almost $30 million to a quarterback over the next 2 years. However, looking at what Tyrod Taylor is, a competitor on the field, who takes care of the ball for the most part, and has given the Buffalo Bills some pretty solid quarterback play, that $27.5 million over the next 2 years puts him as the 20th highest paid quarterback in the NFL. So you've got the number 20 quarterback who's playing like a top, probably I would put him in the top 15, 17 range. I think he's as good as Andy Dalton has been. Maybe better. I haven't watched him a ton. Other than the games I broke down this year, I haven't really watched the games to see how it affected his play or how his play affected their chances of winning. Now, I watched this year. 6 games I watched for this year before I put up my profile. 6 games from this year, 2 from last year. And for the most part, Tyrod Taylor did a damn good job of keeping that team playing well. Now, yeah, they're mostly running offense, but Tyrod kept them in games more so than any quarterback they probably would have had on that roster. More so than E.J. Manuel, more so than Cardale Jones will coming up this year. Tyrod has a strong arm, mostly accurate, very athletic, continues to keep plays alive, even when running for his life from a suspect offensive line at times as far as pass protection. And as far as what you're going to get as a Buffalo Bill in this year's draft or anybody you're going to sign this year, Tyrod is your best hope going forward. And maybe you will draft someone, or maybe you want Cardale Jones to be the guy. Cardale Jones is not ready to be the guy going forward right now. Do they want to throw him into the fire? Go ahead. It might not help Sean McDermott in his first year, and it may make Doug Whaley look like even more of an idiot than he's already managed to do so himself. I talked to a lot of people from the Buffalo area, and not one of them is a fan of Doug Whaley. Now, of course, I know I can't always go based on fan appeal, because if that was the case, no one would ever last longer than 2 games here in Cleveland sometimes. But if they release Tyrod Taylor, if they can't just pay him the money they signed him up for in a 6-year, $90 million contract, then go ahead, start Cardale Jones, start Josh McCown. Whoever you're going to sign off the street is not going to do a better job than Tyrod Taylor. So if he does come available, do I think the Browns should go after him? Absolutely. It won't cost you any draft picks. It'll still allow you to draft someone, but let them come along slowly. I do believe that Tyrod Taylor is a bridge quarterback. He's never going to be a guy who's going to lead you to the promised land based on his talent alone. It's going to take a very talented team around him to really, really get all of his talent out. And maybe better, he would be better here with Hugh Jackson and possibly the weapons around him, and Corey Coleman, Gary Barnidge, Terrell Pryor, Isaiah Crowell, if he comes back, and others. But the Bills need to keep Tyrod Taylor. Moving on to Mitch Trubisky, who I believe is a top 15 quarterback and a top 15 overall pick in this year's draft. Mitch Trubisky showed me on film, yes, just one season at North Carolina, that he has great anticipation. He's accurate, can throw the deep ball, and leads his team on the field. Does he make mistakes? Absolutely. Should he? Are there things where you look at him, rolling out against Virginia Tech? I believe they were at their own -10. So they're at the 10-yard line. He rolls out into his end zone, has a running back flash open, and he doesn't release the ball right away. Instead, he tries to run. He's tackled and sacked at the 2-yard line. Plays like that, they make you scratch your head, but maybe he wasn't sure of dumping it off if he thought he was going to get his running back blown up by a linebacker who was within a few yards. You don't know his reasons for not dumping it off. But there are certain things he can work on to become a better quarterback. And I think he does have the coachable skills, and he's a gym rat, a smart, intelligent gym rat who wants to be a football player, who can get better. At worst, he's going to be Alex Smith or Andy Dalton. At best, he's Carson Palmer, maybe more athletic Carson Palmer. Now, of course, I want to see how strong his arm is. At the combine, that's two things I want to see. There's two things I want to see. How fast he throws the ball, his velocity. I like 56 miles per hour or above. I know Benjamin Albright, who knows way more than I know, looks for 55 or above, and he's not a big Trubisky fan. I am a Trubisky fan. Maybe he's right, maybe I am. We'll see. Nobody knows. It's all a wild card until we really see what these kids do. But I want to see how fast he throws the ball. I like 56 or above. And I want to see how tall he actually is. He's going to be the 6'1.5" that some people have reported, like Mike Mayock, or is he going to be the 6'3" that he's listed at? I think he's going to be closer to 6'3" than 6'1.5". Maybe he'll come in at 6'2.5", but that other inch will definitely help him. 220 pounds, I'd like to see him maybe build onto that frame. He's sneaky athletic. He's going to be a solid quarterback in this league for a long time. I truly, truly believe that. Moving on to the third quarterback who you can find profile listed at orangeandbrown365.com. That would be Texas Tech quarterback Pat Mahomes. Mahomes, like I told you last week, if you listened to the podcast last week here on Orange and Brown 365 on Spreaker, Mahomes is a fun player to watch. This kid is anywhere between Jay Cutler and Johnny Manziel and Brett Favre. Amazing arm talent. Can throw from any angle. Can drop down sidearm. Can throw it at 3/4. Over the top. His footwork doesn't even need to fit in. It's all snap of the wrist arm talent. Now, will he make coaches crazy? Abso-friggin-lutely. He will make coaches absolutely insane. But his talent, his athleticism, his everything he's got, and the swagger he brings on the field, it may all be worth it to a coach. He may not pan out right away, but a couple years from now, he could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league and possibly the most talented quarterback coming out of this draft. When you talk about a guy who has the improvisation skills of Johnny Manziel and does things like Brett Favre, true gunslinger, I put him in the category like Brett Favre in the style he plays, and Brett Favre is one of my favorite quarterbacks. That is a huge compliment towards him. And that tells you how good he can possibly be. Check out more of my profile up on orangeandbrown365.com. That's listed there. There's a bunch of other articles. Give it a look. Help me build the site. Help me grow it. And please, anything you see, comment on. Anything you want. Hit me up at SomervilleCLE or in email, oab365@gmail.com. Want to get better. Want to put up better posts. I can only get as good as you help me get. Now, moving on to the other thing I want to talk about today. I got about 4 minutes left in the show here. What would I do if I was running the Browns this season? I'm going to start out talking about Terrell Pryor. If I were running the Browns currently, and I could get away with signing Terrell Pryor to a franchise tag, that is absolutely what I would do. Because right now I've got a guy who had a really good season last year with 5 quarterbacks throwing him the ball. He was a 6-1. Over 1,000 yards, first season as a true wide receiver, and he was that good that he was over 1,000 yards. Now, the problem is, how good is he going forward? Did he sneak up on people and people took him lightly, and that's a lot of times why he had really good games? And yeah, he disappeared once other guys started taking notice of him. So we don't know how good he is or how good he's going to be. Is this the best he's going to get, or is he going to get better? Personally, I think he's going to get better. However, right now, because I don't know truly what he is for sure, I would try to franchise tag him while I have the money, while I have the cap space. And then next season, if he shows he can continually do it, then I would add the long-term extension. He's only 27 years old, going on 28. Give him a 4-year deal, 28 to 32, through the prime of his career? Absolutely. Maybe even shorten it so at 31 he could maybe get another contract. But outside of that, I'm looking for an edge rusher, maybe another linebacker, and I want secondary help. And Isaiah Crowell, who is another free agent, if it's not going to cost you a ton of money, if he's not going to expect, true number one running back type money, I would absolutely bring him back. Kid's only 23, 24 years old. He's worth a shot to see what he can become. He is not a true running back to me, or number one running back. Yes, he had very good numbers at times, but at a lot of times, I think he missed holes. Not terribly, and every running back will miss a hole from time to time. But if he's going to expect, $9 million a year, I don't know if I bring him back at that price. If he wants to be even and fair to the team and a fair contract to him, absolutely he can come back. But it's got to be on those terms. It's not going to be an overpay just to keep him. He's young, but I think he can pick up another running back elsewhere, and maybe you can put more pressure on Duke Johnson to show why he was a third-round pick. The Browns have a lot of money to spend, and now that there's over $105 million in cap space, they could go crazy in free agency. However, they won't, and I wouldn't if I was them either. I would spend that money on a few pieces, maybe if I need, maybe if I feel I can add a safety or a corner in free agency. I might. But I would hold on to most of that money, get pieces that fit, and hold on to that money to use for extensions for Joel Bitonio, Christian Kirksey, in the future, hopefully Danny Shelton. Guys like that who are coming up. Keep my guys in the locker room. Now, I am running out of time here. I want to thank everyone for listening here live on Spreaker. Hit me up with anything else you want to add at SomervilleCLE. That's SOMERVILLECLE. Or email me at oab365.com. Thanks for listening. Remember, as always, if you live the life you love, you'll love the life you live. Have a good one, kids.